So we're just going to start off with this gentle drum we did earlier. And if you feel a little more comfortable to get a little bigger with your movements, feel free to do that. So one of the things about the movement practice like this, a movement practice like this, like literally the one we're doing right here, is that you can stir the blood and you can stir the chi. You can get some good stuff moving. And then when we come to the second exercise, like waterfall, we can further build up the energy. The third exercise, when we go to hold the lower dantian, we're now like charging that even further. And you can take like the movement, bring it into a stillness practice. And when you practice stillness, you're actually creating even more movement inside. Does that make sense? So let's do the first movement, we'll do the second movement, and then we'll do the third movement. So this is the first one. Inhale, exhale your breath. Now and then. And then one nice thing to do is, like, let's say you just had a few minutes, whatever, 5 minutes or something, and you wanted to do just 2 practices of the ones I showed you. Well, here's the first one, and then we're going to just insert the standing tree meditation. So you go from movement to in this one, be very careful. Make sure you place your attention in your feet. Because the more energy you're feeling, the more you need to stay grounded with that one. So we're just doing that briefly here for a moment. Then if you wanted to, you could go into the next one. This would be the inhale for the waterfall. This one, through the mouth, exhale. Sit your body weight down. Remember at the bottom, it's very important to pause on the exhale. So you want to exhale and kind of, and then come up. You come in closer, place one hand on top of the other. On the lower rim of your belly button, place your thumb, either hand, and then take the other hand, put it on top. So earlier, just as a reference, I was moving saliva. Now I can feel that very back pocket of my nose and throat starting to clear like phlegm, like deeper, it wants to move. That's just something to notice in your practice if you notice that, because if that's happening to you, you're getting into deeper pockets of clearing. So stay with that for a moment. Inhale through your nose, exhale. Oh. If you can, either yawn or fake a yawn. Just try and yawn a couple times. Right from here, waterfall, oftentimes we use this if we're doing a routine of 10 movements or something. Or if you look at like the 8 brocades, a lot of times in between each brocade, there's this waterfall. Just to clear the mind, get grounded before you move on to the next technique. Now this one, I'm going to move the right hand here like I'm pulling a bowstring. That hand's going to pull. So again, just this hand. This left hand is going to push away from me. I told you later that I would show you. So if it's too difficult to do today, just do it like this. But traditionally, it's done like this. And as you hold the index finger up and the thumb out, it's not that the thumb goes straight out, you cock it. What this does is it actually makes your palm very strong. So in martial art, if I was hitting something, I would need to have that hand very, very tense here. When that comes to energetics, if the hand is held this way and you have a little oomph to it, it's considered to be expelling or purging toxicity through that hand. So from here, exhale, we're going to make an SH sound. Shh. This is an inhale, cross here, see? Inhale. Shh. And look that way. This travel is an inhale through the nose. Shh. And if for any reason the breath is too difficult, just don't worry about the breath. But if you want to work with the breath, inhale. From this position here, everybody go ahead and strike that pose and freeze for a moment. Yeah, good. Good, good, good. And then exhale as your breath comes down. Inhale, exhale. Remember, this could be like an HA kind of sound. Ha. Ha. Try and get that yawn if you can. Open up the throat and the gut. Bring the hands here. Go around your waist. Go down to the backs of your legs. If you're flexible enough to reach the backs of your knees, great. If you can go all the way to your heels, go all the way down to your heels. Either way, you're going to then wrap your hands around the outside of the leg or the foot. You're going to come up on the inside of the foot and or the legs. You're going to trace up the legs like this, the insides. This is where the meridians are. We're going to go up the front, up with the hands, down with the hands. This movement here is going to be an inhalation. I'm breathing in. I'm exhaling as I go down the bladder meridian here. I go all the way around the outside of the foot. I start to inhale as I'm coming up. I'm drawing the energy from the ground up to the inner thighs. Inhale, that's all inhale. This is now exhale as I come down. This is an inhale, slow. Fill the belly, then the low back, then exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. This one they call two hands. Hold the feet. You see, that's this part of the exercise. to strengthen the kidneys and the waist. So this is inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale as you go down. Inhale as I go up, exhale as I go down. From this position, and I believe in the routine, this was supposed to be first. I think I skipped over it, but down, up. This is Tao in, tapping. It means tapping. These are all places of the acupuncture meridians. Now come here to the upper chest, down the arm, come up, shoulder. You can use this arm to get a little further back there to tap your shoulder. Tapping the other side, shoulder, down the arm, come up, tap across, back down, up, shoulder, across the top of the chest. One hand here. This is a thymus gland area right here. This is lung meridian over here. These pockets all across the top. I got to go very lightly because of the microphone here. But you can tap across here, trying to open up the lungs, activating a little bit of this thymus gland here. And then just let it go. Brush the hands like this. Go like this over your head, your face. Clap your hands, brush them off. Tap your fingertips together. Inhale, when you find that space to inhale, you desire to inhale. Flick the energy here. Take your thumb and index finger, go around the rim of your ear. Can go one ear at a time or two at a time, whatever you desire, but massage and sort of gently poke your ear there. Those of you who are familiar with acupuncture already know it, but those of you who don't, there's points all over the ear here that are related to all kinds of organs and so on in your body. So this is a very good thing to massage your own ears. Now, in our day-to-day, we get a lot of crud on our head. A simple way of putting it, a lot of crud on our head. That's why this. That's why this. Energetic, just gunk. You know how it feels good sometimes to wash your face? Well, this is like that, but energetically. Once you go like this, you'll literally feel it on your hands, even if, you know, your face wasn't sweaty or whatever. You could feel it. It's like a heaviness that comes to your hands. That's the clapping. That's what that's for. Clap and get rid of it. Let's go back one more time to this tapping. Right here, if you hold your knees there for a moment, if you take 3 fingers and you place it right here to the outside of your knee and the outside of your shin, that's a rough position of what is called 3 mile point in acupuncture. If you use your palms, you can just access that area. You don't have to worry about exactly where it is. But now let me show you this real quick before you do it, because I don't want to make you lightheaded. This is an extra little practice related to Tao In. 3 mile point is a specific point. It was named that. The idea was if you stimulated that point on a soldier or something, they could go 3 more miles. So it's an energy point. We want to tap the point and then we want to stand up. So just watch me once. Be careful with this part. This part's going to be fine. You're tapping, you're tapping, you're tapping. You see where my head is though? If you stand up too fast and your head was too far forward, some of you are going to get really lightheaded right here because you're going to bring up all this blood and qi, and if you stand up too fast, you're going to get very lightheaded. So you're tapping, you're tapping, you're tapping. Bring your head closer to your trunk, my trunk, and stand up. Okay, so try it out. You tap here. And slowly head comes up. Go to your standing tree meditation, feet about shoulder width or a little wider. Open up your armpits a little bit. Like I said, if you're new to this, I recommend keep your eyes open and gaze. As you get better at this, it's a wonderful practice to close your eyes. Place your mind in your feet, making yourself heavy in your stance. So you stay grounded. Inhale, exhale. Take both of your hands, doesn't matter which one's on top, but place them right here where your fingertips are on the collarbone. Just below that collarbone area is where the thymus gland sits. Very, very important gland. This exercise in our school is called Doorway to Immortality because in activating the thymus gland, you can reverse aging. That's the idea. There's more to it than that, but that's a simple explanation for today. Hold the hands there. Relax if you can. You see this like wings? Relax your shoulders as much as possible. And then have some tension in your legs, enough to hold you up. But then you're trying to relax your legs, keep your knees slightly bent so that the energy can flow. Let the hands come down, go to a little bit of that marching kind of motion. Kind of, again, a very light pounding on the ground. That's what I mean by marching. This gets rid of fatigue, tiredness. It also helps you get grounded. So we're just going to do that a little bit. And then bring your feet out a little past shoulder width. We're coming to the same vicinity as the last exercise, this thymus gland holding. Here, this is often called, we sometimes call it like prayer mudra. There's different names for it. Or prayer pose. So the position we're in, standing, is standing tree meditation. And this prayer pose becomes the cherry on top. Earlier in our discussion today, we talked about the lower dantian a lot. Right now, your hands are in the vicinity of middle dantian. There's 3 dantians. Your hands are calling the energy because of how we practiced and what we did. Your hands are calling the energy to the middle dantian. Once again, if you can get a yawn in there, if it comes in, or you can even just, you feel it coming and you can make it kind of happen, you can assist it. Good idea. Inhale, exhale. And then go back to marching that out for a moment. Can also do some clicking of the heels. So this is not quite like I'm not exactly bouncing. I'm click, click, click. I'm pounding the heel to the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basic stretch. Hands to the knees, reaching down carefully, whatever's comfortable, finding your breath and trying to hang a little bit. Just let yourself hang and breathe. You can breathe in through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. And then when you're ready, desire to come up, shake that out. Just kind of shake here. If you can do that, just kind of shake your leg. So a question that I often get, which is a really good question, in light of the breathing. So if you're doing a practice such as, let's all go to standing tree meditation for a moment. If you're doing a practice such as standing tree meditation, inhale, exhale. During that meditation, that brief one, we're going to do it again, but during that brief meditation, you don't really need to breathe very much. Hardly at all. So breathing in and out through the nose works perfectly. Okay? Like yogic practices typically are in through the nose, out through the nose. And one of the pitches, if you will, or teachings about that particular practice is that breathing in and out through the nose causes the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, to help you to relax. 100% true. So in Qigong practice, when we're doing exercise that doesn't require something like this, shh, then it's just in and out through the nose. But the moment that we make a motion like that, where there's a pushing and a pulling involved, for example, whether I was doing martial art or Qigong or baseball, or some of the tennis players now, the female tennis players even, making big noises when they hit, you know, whatever sound they make, but they're using different sounds. This has been done in martial arts for, you know, thousands of years. So that gives you a lot of power and it helps you get grounded. So whenever we're making a motion where we maybe are pushing or we're pushing and we're pulling, the exhale is through the mouth. Let's do waterfall for a minute. Let's look at that. We inhale. We're now going to push. It should be through the mouth. Not through the nose, unless we were to slow it way down. If we're going this slow, we can make it in through the nose, out through the nose, but guess what? There's no way it's going to come in just 2 breaths. Our movement is too slow. Does that make sense? So in such a practice, you would just leave the breath alone. Just don't do anything with it. Just only move slow. This is slow Qigong. Some people, this is the only way they practice Qigong. There's different flavors. And in this kind of practice, you can leave the breath alone, number one. And this, by the way, can be very, very invigorating. Let's do it for a little bit, especially where we are today. You're completely leaving behind the breath, and you're trying to keep a steady, consistent movement with your arms and your hands and so on. Being wakeful, moving meditation. Walk that energy down your body. But notice on this one, there's not going to be much emphasis on the grounding in the same way as if we did a deep inhale and then so when you need to get grounded, when you need to purge, it's more like that through the mouth. And this can become even more a little bit guttural, where you're making it with your throat and your gut. I think of it as like the sumo practice, where it's like oh no no oh. So you're here, and it's like that oh. In order to make that sound, you have to open up your throat all the way down to your gut. Very few people, or let's do it the other way. A lot of people have a hard time doing that because there's a cutoff in their breath. There's a cutoff in their ability to make that kind of sound. So learning to drop your tongue to the bottom of your mouth, drop it. Open your throat, ha, 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 and tighten here a little bit, ha. And then as you're coming down, ha, ha, ha. So in a very grounded practice of waterfall, we wouldn't even go up here. We're just down here. It's ha, 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 ha. Drop the tongue, open the throat, let it come all the way down to here, okay? All right, let's tap this out. Anywhere that you sort of feel tension or tightness, go ahead and tap that area. I was just saying to myself, why is that so sore? And I remember, oh yes, Belle and I went trampolining yesterday. It's all coming back to me now. And I'm sure it has nothing to do with teaching jiu-jitsu at 7 a.m. yesterday morning either, but that's what Qigong's for. Recovery, refresh, rebuild.
Do you do the top?
You can, yes, definitely. Anywhere other than like your breasts or something that might be sensitive, you can basically tap everything. Your eyes, you want to be careful of your eyes, you know, but basically everything, okay? Let's just put the hands here. Qigong is very Star Wars, like it's mind, it's body, it's spirit. It's not one or the other. When you go like this, something like this, because you can have your own artistic variation of it. You're opening up the sky. But it's not what you do with your hands, because I could go like this. And that wouldn't look like the same thing, would it? It's what I do with my mind. And not just my mind, but the entirety of my energy field. So I'm calling from the ground, for example, I'm opening the sky. I go down into earth. I bring it up. I open up, making myself bigger. This one is not on your little handout there, but this one's called Wei Qi. Wei Qi is about protective energy. And one of the ways of thinking about this one is making your auric field very, very big. Very big auric field. Depression, sadness, whatever, anger, grief, it doesn't look like this. Hold your hands there, look up, it doesn't look like this. This is expanded. And if that hurts in your body, that shows you what's going on in your body. It shows you, oh yeah, that kind of aches right there, oh yeah. Breathe into that place that aches and expand it. Reach up this way, breathe into it. Oh, expand it, let it come down. Open up the hands to the sides. Let's go here. What's the easiest way for me to show this to you? Well, let's start with this. Hands here, hands here. Hands here. Turn the hands over. Turn the thumbs toward your front, palms to the side. Bring your hands down. Hold your hands up like you're serving something. Bring your hands back. Turn them over. Bring your hands together. Come up, spread them out. Bring just one hand up. Palm up, palm down. Turn the hand over, palm down. Turn the palm over, palm down. Raise this hand up. Turn that hand over. Bring the back of the palm. Turn it over. You know what's interesting? Like, who knows who first came to the body, right, and figured this out? But like, somebody figured out, hey, the body moves in this kind of fashion. And if I do this, I can actually generate quite a bit of power from this kind of movement. My hands are here. In martial art, if I were to take this hand and go like this, there's no power. There's next to nothing. It's just a linear movement of lifting my hand. Well, that's also for Qigong true. If this hand here goes like this, go like you're gathering something from the ground, you're reaching in there, you're gonna scoop it up and you're gonna bring it right here to your side. You're gonna hold it like this. Remember how we did the bow and arrow and we were kind of stretching apart? Take this other hand that was down here and go like this, like stop, like police officer says stop. Very slow motion, because we're not doing karate here, but very slow motion. This hand, the hand that's up, curl that one and bring it back. And now you're holding here. This is a very common training stance for a lot of martial arts and also hard forms of Qigong, Kung Fu, etc. We breathe from here, we stand here. This is not a fighting stance, this is a training stance. Notice where your hands are. Go forward with your hands and bring your hands back. This is lower what? Dantian. You're holding in the vicinity of lower Dantian. This is where the charge is, the power is. This is what you're looking to develop. So interesting. Are you guys ready for this? It's a mind blow. I hope to blow your mind with it. Stay in your training stance. Think about this for a minute. In the same place that all of your troubling emotions exist, the seat of your emotions, the ones we talked about earlier, lives the first seat of your power. Think about that for a minute. In the place where you're troubled by your emotions lives the first seat of your power. Both live in lower Dantian. The seat of your power and the seat of your emotions. So how do we deal with emotions? One way is to be soft in the heart, meditate, so on. Sometimes we need to do that. Right here, this is a practice of like, all right, I'm gonna stand in this. Go home later and Google little kids doing Kung Fu at the Shaolin Temple. They will stand like this and they're shaking like you saw Keith earlier, and they're just sitting there and they're crying, tears are coming down their face, but they don't move. That's a hard form of Qigong. We don't need to train that hard, but understand that something's going on there, and a couple of minutes of that a day could be really good for you. So stay here for a moment. Now both hands, walk them forward like this. This is where the power is. It's in the spiral when they turn and they stop. Open your hands. Palms come down. Imagine you're getting energy from the ground. Turn them over. You have closed fists. Thumbs go on the top of those two fingers. They don't like go inside or anything. They go on top of the two fingers. Draw this back to yourself. Now, with a SH sound, go shh. Open. Inhale. Breathe it into your lower belly. Hold it in your lower belly. And then shh. Open. Inhale. 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 One more. Shh. Exhale. Inhale. Waterfall. Tap your legs out. Walk your legs like this. Just go a little bit longer and then we'll transition to another, some cross training so you can give your body a rest from this type of practice. But I'm going to give you one more. So I told you earlier, I was actually right before we went to lunch, I said if I were to stand like this, and you never saw martial art before, just like I asked you earlier about my meditation stances, what would you guys say this means?
Prepared.
Prepared. What were some of the other ones? Protection.
You're not going through me.
You're not going through me. All very true. Okay, holding your space. So even if you hadn't, martial art was not even a thing, and then like, let's say it was given birth to today, and you saw that position, right away you go, oh, that's what protective Wei Qi is. And masters that are very, very good at this kind of thing, and I've been lucky enough or connected enough to do that every once in a while, where like I see things on YouTube, I think a bunch of them are fake, but you see, the master goes like that and the person goes flying. The closest I've come to that is a master that I worked with, that the moment you touched his hand, just touched him, you were stuck to him like glue. He knew how to connect in such a way that right away he had your center and you just couldn't let go. He's the only person I've ever worked with that had that kind of ability to that level. Anyway, but I have seen things and done things where sometimes they call it like throwing chi. Anyway, it's like what you see in the movies. The quick example I would give you, one of them would be some guy was trying to mug me, whatever, and I went around a building, and then I was like, okay, if he's really trying to mug me, he's going to come around this building. Sure enough, he came around the building in hot pursuit. As soon as he came around the building, he ran here. As soon as he got right to the line of the camera, I was just standing there. He came around, boom, he stood there. As soon as he started to aggressively approach me, I went, "Cha!" Like some noise, yelled really loud. I won't do it here, but he launched himself. I mean, both his feet came up off the ground. He landed on his head. And then the neighbor saw him, yelled at him. Anyway, he ran away. My point is, if I can make the point, like I said, it's like a Star Wars thing. What you do with your mind, what you're doing with your body is what you are doing with your spirit. And there are times, some people, everybody's path is different, but I'm here to share my path with you. My path is that peaceful warrior path. I'm peaceful. I'd rather be peaceful. I'd rather be your friend. I don't want to fight. I'm not interested in any of those kinds of things. I got into martial arts and stuff for self-defense. But one of the things that I learned about martial art alongside of Qigong, and Qigong alongside of martial art for me, and alongside of meditation, one of the things that I learned was I would go practice for hours like this at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. I'd practice till 4. I'd practice till 6, whatever. And it started changing my life. Like, I wasn't fighting anybody, but people were picking up on my vibe because I was making myself big, because I was practicing protective Wei Qi. Does that make sense? So let's just try a little flavor of that. Put a couple of things together here. So first, let me show you this one. My feet are here. Please be careful with this, very careful, because we're also on hard ground. So when you move your foot and you step behind yourself, for any reason, if you lift your foot and put it down, if this is here and I don't know it's here, it's going to trip me. When you move, also if the ground was very slick, when you move the foot, do you see it slides? Do you see how the heel is still off the ground? I don't pick it up and go here. I slide, I feel my territory. I'm going to unwind my hips, and then I'll pick my hands up. So I slide, I pivot at my waist, I raise my hands. I slide my foot. It doesn't go straight back. It goes about 45 degrees. I unwind the hips. My hands come up. Okay? So we're going to go very quiet with it. We're not going to make a loud sound. It's too nice and peaceful here today. But I do want you to make a little bit of sound. First we'll do the movement, then we'll add the sound. The movement, slide back with your foot, unwind at the waist. Your hands will come up. You're going to lift them, and then the sound will go ha. You're only going to go about 6 inches, ha. But now the ha is going to come to the front. So I'm your front. So your positioning would be here, and your ha will be here toward the front of the space. This is an interesting thing because understanding your body, if I go like this and the camera is my front, a lot of people who don't train these things will go ha going that way. Now my mind is, my eyes and my mind are going this way, but my mind is split because my hands are going this way. Here, everything's going in the same direction. Here, everything's going in the same direction. So we're here, slide, pivot at the waist, lift your hands, and they gesture to the front because the bad guy's coming. Ha! Ha! You can even make it funny. But see, right from here, watch. Bring the hands here. Ha! Bring the hands here. Ha! Bring the hands here. Ha! This is an inhale. Ha! That's the exhale. Ha! Ha! If we exaggerate it to understand the breath, it's inhale. Ha! 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 Very good. And then breathe here. Ha! Exhale. Exhale. Now let the breath go. Move slowly with the hands. Slowly. You get here. Imagine you're bringing down your mind from the brain. It's up in your head. Bring it down. Bring it down to middle dantian, to the chest. Keep walking it down, your stress, your blood pressure, anything. Walk it down. Walk down the energy from the abdomen to the lower abdomen. Hold it down to the ground like you're somewhat pinning it. Bring the feet in slightly. Hold one hand over the top. Find a decent position for yourself. Bend your knees a little bit. Eyes open if you're not comfortable with eyes closed. If you close your eyes, make sure you place your mind in the ground. This is a form of standing tree meditation and simultaneously holding the lower dantian. This will be our last exercise for a little bit, a little break. So stay with this one as best you can. If for any reason you need to stop, sit down, rest, please do. We're going to try and do this one for a few minutes. This is our standing tree meditation while holding lower dantian in the forest here. Inhale, exhale. Walk your feet up and down. Maybe lift your knees a little higher just to get some of that blood moving, etc. Good job. That is, like I said, that's a little bit of a challenging practice, but hopefully you can see maybe a little bit more space there. An interesting phenomena with meditation in general, but also standing tree meditation. When I first started doing standing tree meditation, I stand there and my mind was just like constant. And it took time to clear up that energy in certain places in my body. And then all of a sudden that wasn't there in the same way anymore. And even when my mind starts to get busy, I can learn, you can learn to bring your mind here, to bring your mind to lower dantian, to bring your mind down to your feet. And as long as you stay focused on that practice, you're no longer in the top of your head. This part of your brain is the one that's always like monkey mind. If you learn to bring your mind here, and bring your mind down, and then bring your mind into the ground, you can make that mind significantly more quiet. So it grounds you, it relaxes you, and then from there, you can deepen your practice, deepen your meditation. The reason I still practice, so to speak, one of the reasons I still practice, I guess the best way I could say it, like even during that short meditation, I had a moment there where it was like, I felt like there wasn't a separation between myself and the forest. I just felt like it was breathing me, I was breathing it, you know? And there wasn't all the thinking. I crave those moments. Those moments are pretty profound. And in certain disciplines, they call that like Zen mind or clear mind. And the idea behind some of these practices that like come out of the Shaolin Temple and so on, all of it, Qigong, meditation, martial art, all of it is designed to purge, cleanse, clear the mind, to empty the mind so as to be free. To be in that free, clear state, that when something comes and starts to disturb our balance, that we have a way to get back to that balance. And again, unlike some philosophies that sit on a shelf, this is very much, you know, hands-on. It's a physical practice. I'm gonna go do this with my body, right? So that's what makes it different. One of the things I said I'd share with you, we're gonna take another little break. You guys could walk around, get some nature, whatever. I'm going to drink some water. I said I would discuss a little bit of this question that Kristen was asking regarding marching, walking, and some of the things that I talk about in my book in terms of how I personally healed myself, what worked for me, what didn't work. Doesn't mean it wouldn't work for somebody else. But there's things that worked for me and things that I've been using and teaching other people for years. And I sort of have my own system, if you haven't figured that out. I have my own system about, hey, this works, I've seen it work, I've helped people do it, so I'll share some of that with you if you'd like to take some of that on a little bit of what I like to call a power walk, okay? So have a nice little break, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit.